Alright guys, so as you can see we are here with the highlights of AOR PS4 Tier 2 League for the Japanese Grand Prix, and as you can see the only change to my wheel settings I've made is that I've put the environmental feedback down to 49. I only decreased it by 1. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it actually made quite a huge difference, and as you can see here it's going to rain for the race and it's going to be full wet conditions all the way through the race, so that should be interesting. But now getting into qualifying, starting my hot lap, but heading into this race I wasn't feeling too confident because I was away throughout the week, so I didn't get much practicing compared to what I usually do, so yeah, my confidence levels weren't too high for this race, and also because it's going to be wet in the race. The pad on this game is better in the wet than the wheel, so I'm definitely going to have to try extra hard to win this race compared to some of the pad users in this league. But yeah, heading through the first sector, into that corner there, that wasn't taken too well. We had to take 2 bites at the cherry, as they say, because we turned in too early. But the first sector hasn't been too bad. I could have carried a bit more speed through that particular corner, but heading through this fast right-hander, downshifting into 6, then into the 90-degree right-hander. The 4 Chicks has gone fastest, or Clay as he's known, and now heading into the hairpin, locking up the right front down to 2nd gear, and we're going to have to short shift up into 4th on the exit to reduce the wheel spin. And so far you can see Clay is on the medium tyres, and a lot of people did their first runs on the medium tyres, but I did mine on the soft, obviously, because it doesn't matter what tyres you qualify on because it's going to be wet. But heading through Spoon, you stay in 4th gear. Well, I personally stay in 4th gear around there. Some people downshift into 3rd, but I think 4th gear is the best option. Now heading into 130R, flat out in 8th gear, don't touch the curb on the exit, get as close as you can to it. Now downshifting, trying not to lock up into the chicane, half on the curb on each of them, and now short shifting up into 5th, now 6th, and opening DRS as early as you can, and across the line, set a pretty decent lap to go P1 with that. And I was on provisional pole for a while, but it turned out Jeek in the Ferrari actually beat me just, and I thought I was going to get my first ever AOR pole, but unfortunately I didn't, and I was a bit annoyed about that. But Jeek actually rejoined the session in qualifying, which means, well, I was pretty sure that he was going to get the same glitch as I had in Austria and Germany of AOR, where you get held longer than the other drivers because you rejoined in qualifying. I don't know why that happens on this particular F1 game, but it does. So now getting into the race, we have 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, lights out, and away we go. And Jeek has been held by the lights, and I wonder whether he jumped it like I did in Germany, but we are away in the lead, and I was just thinking at this moment, don't mess it up, just keep the lead. And you can see here, I've gone slightly wide into turn 1, and I've already got a warning. So that was one of our 3 warnings gone before you get a penalty. So we are leading from Demon behind us in the McLaren. He's pretty good in the wet, I know that from some of his time trial videos where I believe he set some world records on the PS4, which is pretty decent from him there. But we are holding on to the lead for the moment and heading through the first sector. We negotiated it pretty well, just getting used to the wet conditions at the moment. It was actually more difficult with higher feedback in the wet conditions, but you can see here I've gone wide into the gravel and I've messed up that badly, and Demon's going to get through into the lead, and I just thought at this stage, what are you doing, you total idiot? Like, I lost the lead after holding it, and like it's quite rare for me to be in the lead after turn 1. I'm usually starting quite far down, but you can see now I'm really close to the back of Demon. I have slipstream at the moment, but you'll see later on that I actually don't get slipstream later on in the race because someone leaves the session. It's another glitch on this game, but you can see I get up the inside Demon into turn 1 to take the lead, and I thought that was a pretty good move, but he didn't. On the forums he made that pretty clear. So we are now into P1. Out of 13 people, as one of them, Crazy Legs, has retired already, but now you can see heading into lap 4 the gap is slowly building, and me and Demon are getting away as we set the fastest lap. And I was managing the gap at about 1.5 seconds for many laps, and I was just thinking, because it's in the wet, you only need to do 1 stop, and it should be a pretty easy race from here. You can see heading on to lap 6 I've set the fastest lap again, and the gap is 1.3, and it was staying around that sort of range for a while. But you can see Ball 44 has retired, and I realised at this stage the safety car is going to come out, and it always seems to be the same person who retires and brings out the safety car and ruins just the race, because it's I've been neutralised, everyone is going to be back together again, so my gaps are now gone. And you can see here, I'm slowing down, and I made quite a big error here because you can see I'm looking behind, and Demon actually pitted and I stayed out even though I should have pitted. And yeah, I stayed out and I pitted on the next lap, which lost me a lot of time. It was a very bad strategical error there from myself, and I realised what I'd done as soon as I passed the pit lane entrance, and now catching up to the safety car. And yeah, we're going to have to do some overtaking. So yeah, I was pretty annoyed, and you can see I'm now pitting, and I thought I was going to come out in about 11th place, to be honest. I thought that was how bad I messed up, so I almost crashed into the pit lane wall as well. For some reason I was really suffering with a lot of lockups in this race. I hadn't changed any of my settings or anything, it was just how it was, and I was probably the quickest in the wet, but you can see now I'm in P8, I've got Gigs behind me in P9, and yeah, I was so annoyed at this stage, and I was just thinking, like, because there was a vote at the start of the league whether you wanted safety car on and off, or on or off, if I can even speak, and I voted for it on, but that was probably the wrong choice because so many races have been ruined by the safety car. But you can see we're going green flags now, lots of cars sliding in front, we've got the Williams in front of us, and here I just was thinking I've got to pass these guys as quickly as possible. Demon was in second place, and he was our main competition for today. My closest championship rival Dan got caught up in an instant, I believe, as we go up the inside of the Williams, and we made a bit of contact there, and I don't know whose fault that was. At the time I thought it was probably mine, I just understeered into him, but you guys can decide for yourselves whose fault you thought that was. But Giggs is now in front and heading towards the end of lap 11. We're going to get a good exit out the final corner, and we go side by side with Giggs down the straight, now up into P5, and we've got Pit Matt in front of us, and yeah, we're now up into 5th place. And you can see we're actually closing the top 4, so I was pretty hopeful at this stage, because you can see I'm already onto the back of Pit Matt now. But at this stage, because a couple of people had left, the slipstream had been removed for myself, the OP slipstream on this game, so it was probably removed for other people, but that just made me more desperate to make overtakes on these people. And I'm sorry if I sound a bit funny at the moment, I've got another bit of hay fever to deal with. But you can see I'm going up the inside of Pit Matt into the chicane. We made a bit of contact there, and I'm not sure whose fault that was. I don't think it was really anyone's fault, I think it was just a racing incident. But you can see I'm just getting more and more frustrated, and I dived up the inside into the chicane. Didn't lock up, I just went a bit wide, and I made a bit of contact with him and pushed him wide, and I'm sorry about that if you're watching, Matt. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. But we are now up into P4 on lap 14 out 27, and now we've just got to catch the top 3, and we did that really quickly. And you can see Demon is desperately trying to get past Sam Bastos as we now try to get past Clay in the Sauber, and we haven't been able to do it. But I was really desperate to get through and show how good my pace was in the wet, because I'm pretty good at the wet on this game. And you can see here I exceeded track limits and got a 3-second penalty. So right now I was very frustrated, and I was like, I need to get to first place and build up a 3-second gap, even though my championship rival is quite far down. But you can see we've gone up the inside of Clay in the Sauber to get through at the hairpin. Demon actually made contact with Sam Bastos, and he locked up there and made a collision with him. We are now up into P3 out of 10, and now heading towards the end of the lap. You've got Sam Bastos still in the lead, but I believe he is pitting at the end of this lap from what I can remember. And yes, he is into the pits. So Demon now leads, and we are in second, so we have effectively got back up to where we were before, even though we don't have the gap at the front and we're not in first place. But you can see I'm in the slipstream, even though the slipstream is not fully working, and yeah, I wasn't able to go for a move there. But we are right on the back of him, and I was right on the back of him for many laps, and I just got more and more frustrated to get through because of my penalty, and you'll see what's about to happen. But yeah, you can just see I'm quick. I believe he was saving his tyres, but I was just so desperate to get through. I did quite a few moves where I looked up the inside, but you can see here, heading into the hairpin, I had a look up the inside, almost contact there, but luckily there wasn't here on lap 17. But we get oversteer on the exit there, and I was just so desperate to get past him. He's made a mistake, and now we're going to go around the outside of the chicane. Can we manage it? That would be a hard move to complete, and no, we're not going to be able to do that. I'm not sure whether anyone around me had penalties as well, so that was just why I was so desperate to get in front and build up a 3-second gap, and it was really difficult to build up the 1.5-second gap I had in the first stint, so hence the reason why I was so desperate to make the move and get the 3-second gap on Demon, even though Dan's quite far back. I believe he's in 6th now, although he was running further down than that earlier. But you can see here I was supposed to have a look up the inside, but I've locked up and I've just taken Demon out, and he wasn't very happy about that at all, and I can understand that. I apologised, it was 100% my fault, and I apologised not once, not twice, but 3 times, and to be honest he hasn't accepted that, and all you can do is apologise, and that's what I did. I know it was my fault. I don't know whether I'm going to get a penalty for it, and it's a rare mistake from myself. I don't usually make mistakes like that. It's very easy to do, as some of you guys will know, with no assists, and locking up in the rain is very easy to do. But you can see here, heading on to lap 22, Demon's made a mistake there, and Dan is going to go for a move. We're now behind my championship rival Dan. We're going side by side with the 2 McLarens up into P4, but I was still pretty annoyed at this stage. I thought if it wasn't for the safety car, we should be easily in the lead at this moment with no collisions with anyone. But we've now got through into P4 ahead of Dan again. But you can see here contact, and that is another steward's investigation in AOR. And you can see here at the time I'm slowing down because I thought that was probably my fault. I need to let him have the position, but he had an illegal overtake, so he had to give the place back to me. But in hindsight, I looked at it and I was on the apex all the way through the corner, and then we made contact. I just think it's the contact model in this game. As pit back goes wide and we take P4, so that's better for us. But it's the contact model in this game, and we're now back behind Demon again here on lap 27. It's an absolute disastrous race, many mistakes. The first stint was so good, and then the safety car ruined it again. And I think if there's people in this league who are just going to constantly retire and crash every race, they shouldn't be in this league. They shouldn't have a space in this league where there could be better drivers who deserve it more than people who are just going to crash out every race and bring out the safety car, because they're basically wasting a space in the league which could go to a much better driver. But you can see here into the final couple of corners, Clay's going to take the win, and you can see we're going to possibly go for a move on Demon, who's gone a bit wide here, and we're going to switch to the inside line for the chicane. We go up the inside, but no, we're not able to make the move there. And you can see I'm sliding out the corner, so desperate to make the move for 3rd place, but across the line in 4th, which actually turned out to be 3rd because Giggs had some sort of penalty. But that is going to be it for today, guys. A disappointing race. Hope you enjoyed it though. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new, let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you very soon. Goodbye.